How bad do you guys hate losing to the New York Knicks? Well, here at Chat Sports, we're having a battle to see how many shares we can get in the month of January. And right now, those folks over at Knicks Now by Chat Sports, Marshall Green and Patrick Seatman, they're beating us 82 shares to 65. I need you guys to share this video right now to help us beat the New York Knicks. There is a ton of stuff happening in the Eastern Conference right now. Thankfully, it's not directly involved with the Boston Celtics, but it does affect them in some way. So the first half of this video, let's dive deep into what happened with the Milwaukee Bucks. In the second half of the video, let's talk about how the Boston Celtics could possibly get a little bit better. I'm sure you guys have already heard Doc Rivers is the new head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks in the span of 24 hours. Adrian Griffin got the boot yesterday after the Bucks are 30-13 and second in the Eastern Conference. So I'm thinking everything that you guys are thinking. What the F happened to make this firing go down? Doc Rivers is a great coach. There's no secret about that. But just the fact that the Bucks didn't really need a head coach, but overall, there were reports out there that maybe some players in the Milwaukee Bucks weren't happy. So, when Griffin was fired, the Bucks are second in the Eastern Conference. They're 30-13, and they're currently ranked second in the NBA in offense, but they're 22nd in defense. That did not sit well with some of the players who are currently on the Milwaukee Bucks. And of course, every single team is going to have their Achilles heel every single year. But it was never in my mind, oh, Adrian Griffin's got to go. You can normally tell when there's something going on with the head coach. This one took me by a surprise. But reports do show that Giannis and Dame, the moneymakers for the Milwaukee Bucks, had lost faith in Griffin. It also did come out that Doc Rivers has been consulting Adrian Griffin since December. Well, we're all pretty familiar with Doc Rivers in the Eastern Conference, especially on the Boston Celtics, but Doc Rivers has not coached a losing season since 2007. He was fired in the offseason from the 76ers as a head coach. The Boston Celtics have played him many a times, and the fact that he was a part of the Boston Celtics organization and helped lead the C's to a championship in 2008. First and foremost, there is no disregarding the fact that Doc Rivers is a phenomenal coach, and that's why when they had to break down the candidates to see who's going to take over Griffin's spot, well, there was no surprise here that Doc Rivers was at the top of their top candidates list. That did go Doc Rivers, and then what was kind of interesting is that Jeff Van Gundy, who is now working for the Boston Celtics, who was fired from ESPN as an analyst last season, he was the second choice, old Coach Gundy. And then Nate McMillan of the Atlanta Hawks was the third choice. Well, this took less than 24 hours to finalize this deal. After Adrian Griffin was fired, Doc Rivers was their first choice, and they got Doc Rivers. So, number one, what is your reaction to this happening in the Eastern Conference? The fact that, does this make the Bucks a little bit harder to play now? Are you concerned about the Milwaukee Bucks? Just go on ahead and comment your reaction to Doc Rivers now being the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks. And while you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and drop my take right here. Rivers is a fantastic coach, but he has been extremely unsuccessful in the postseason, which is a huge reason why the Philadelphia 76ers let him go. Second round playoffs are the Achilles heel of Doc Rivers. To me, the Bucks are no more of a threat than they already were. You understand what their pros are, you see what their cons are, and you act accordingly. I think the Boston Celtics are the best team in the Eastern Conference and the NBA. To add somebody like Doc Rivers, you're more than likely going to have a nice little NBA 2K match going on because Doc Rivers is going to let them unleash any kind of offensive potential that they want. Will he fix their defensive potential? That is to be determined. But how worried are you guys now about the Bucks? Giannis and Dame are lethal on their own. Doc Rivers, like I said, an amazing coach despite losing in the playoffs in the past recent years. How worried are you? Go ahead and scale it 1 to 10. I think for me personally, I'm probably at a 5. I'm still consciously worried about the Bucks because they are a good organization. I'm not any more worried or any less worried now that Doc Rivers is in their organization. Coming up, let's talk about how should Boston counteract to all the trades that have been happening in the Eastern Conference. I want to talk about one player we haven't discussed here on Celtics Today, so you guys are going to want to stick around. But first, I got to tell you guys about Factor Meals, the number one ready-to-eat food delivery service here in America right now. And let me tell you, this is fresh, never frozen, delivered right to your front door. And it's super convenient, guys. Take it from me. I hate working 10 hours a day, coming home and scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Pinterest, trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to eat that night. Factor Meals makes it super easy. You can choose between 4 to 18 meals a week. You can pause, you can reschedule your deliveries, and you can choose from over 35 different meals that are not frozen. These are actually crafted by chefs, and they are delicious. They do breakfast, lunch, dinner, grab-and-go snacks, juices, and smoothies, and let me tell you, their strawberry banana is my favorite. It's packed with a whole hydration's worth of a coconut. I suck at drinking water, so that's music to my ears. And if you guys want to go on ahead and get started with Factor Meals, all you guys have to do is go to factormeals.com/NBAchat50. Be sure to use promo code NBAchat50 for 50% off. One more time, go to factormeals.com/NBAchat50. Use promo code NBAchat50 to get 50% off. There's no secret the Eastern Conference is trying to catch up with Boston. It's no secret that teams are making trades after they have played the Boston Celtics at least once this season. That's not cocky. That's a fact. Because when you look at what's happened in the past week, or at least just to start off 2024, the recent moves have been pretty astronomical. Pascal Siakam went to the Pacers to pair up with Tyrese Halliburton. Terry Rozier went to the Heat to pair up with Jimmy Butler. Now Doc Rivers is coming to the Bucks because Giannis and Dame have lost faith in their own head coach, and they're still second in the Eastern Conference. Is this a coincidence? I don't think so. But I guess I could be a little bit biased. But take it from somebody else on how good the Boston Celtics have been this season. Why don't we hear from Kyrie Irving? This was after we beat the Dallas Mavericks. The former Boston Celtics said they've been playing great all season. They have a great system there. We didn't get to see their full team, but I got to give them credit. They've done incredibly well this season and last season, making some changes, making some trades. You can tell they found their chemistry, found the guys that are going to get them over that hump. Kyrie Irving thinks the Boston Celtics are set. They do not need to make another move. Allie Barefoot, on the other hand, does have some questions in terms of should the Boston Celtics be counteracting to the Pascal Siakam trade, to the Terry Rozier trade. I just don't want February 8th to pass, and we could have made a move. What about Day'Ron Sharpe from the Brooklyn Nets? He's $2.2 million and could possibly move the needle a little bit on the court and off the court. Let's look at what Sharpe has done for the Brooklyn Nets, who haven't been that bad in the Eastern Conference this season. 7.5 points per game, 7 rebounds. That alone would help Jason Tatum flourish in a rotation with some of the starters and some of the bench players. 58% from the field. Chef's kiss. I love it, Mr. Sharpe. And 1.4 assists per game. The reason why Sharpe is very active in this trade market right now is the Brooklyn Nets are looking to buy some talent at the trade deadline. And while the Nets are good, I don't see them as a huge contender for the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. So to make this switch, it's not the Knicks, it's not the Bucks. This is a team that we could absolutely make a trade with. So that's what I'm going to propose to you. Day'Ron Sharpe would come to the Boston Celtics, but we would have to say goodbye to Delano Banton and give them a first-round pick and perhaps a second-round pick just because the Nets have come out there and said they're looking for picks. They're looking to buy talent. And you know what? Day'Ron Sharpe, before he got injured, he did just hyperextend his knee. He will be back. This is not a long-term injury kind of thing. He was averaging a career-high 16 points, which is, career-high 16 minutes per game, which is great for somebody that's 22 years old. And I actually pulled this quote here from somebody on the team saying, "We miss Day'Ron as he has been dealing with this injury. I told that our group the other day, I miss hearing him on the bus, miss hearing him in the locker room, so I look forward to seeing the big fella when we get back home." That quote right there seems like he would be a great addition on the court and off the court as well. With that information I have now given you, what do you guys say? Would you accept this trade? I know I've liked Delano Banton, but he's had his moments to start to shine, and he's doing fine. But is it enough? Type A for accept, type D for decline. And while we're at it, like I said, I hate losing to the New York Knicks, so I need your help to send this to a friend, a member of Celtics Nation. Send it to your grandmother if she knows how to work YouTube. Get this video out so I can go report back to Marshall Green and say the Celtics beat you again.